Now I'd like to introduce a Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, James Trent, is New York State Senator Frank Padavan. Now Frank, as you undoubtedly know, was our beloved Republican Party senator for 38 years in the Eastern Queens. And although he is now retired, his rallying cry when he was running was, "Nobody cares like Frank." Frankuzza.
Mr. Mayor, I remember when you read the comics to me as a kid.
Absolutely.
How many of you do? Well, in any event, it's a real pleasure and an honor to be here tonight, to be able to present to my old friend, Jim Trent. Where are you, Jim? Over here. There he is. Put on your hat, please. The Outstanding and the Lifetime Achievement Award. If you read in your journal, you will see an outline of a man who is ubiquitous in terms of the things that he's done and the things that he's achieved. You can put it all together and say that his accomplishments reflect heritage protection, environmental protection, and civic involvement. He's been involved on and off over the years in 30 some odd different organizations throughout the city of New York and beyond. I first met Jim about 40 some odd years ago in his capacity as the head of a small group of people who are protecting a national resource, the Queens Farm Museum. How many of you have been there? Well, let me tell you a brief story about it because it reflects Jim's dedication and his contributions to our community. Back in the 60s, the state didn't want to have anything to do with that property any longer. They'd virtually abandoned it. But a small group of people, led by Jim, took it over, maintained it, improved it, and with their own efforts and their own resources, kept it alive. In the early 70s, the state said, we're going to sell this property. Gone would have been this historic landmark, a 47-acre farm, and everything with it. Again, Jim came together, bringing many, many community leaders to one focal point, protect the farm. And a long story short, as a result of state legislation, we transferred the farm to the city of New York, we incorporated it in state law, and it's there today forever, and it will be the most actively visited facility of its kind anywhere in the state of New York. And we owe that to one man, primarily Jim Trent. I could go on and on about all his other activities. Certainly one that's not mentioned in the journal is the fact that he's been the backbone of the Queens Village Republican Club for many years. And for that, we're very grateful. I've only been given 2 minutes, so I think I've used them up. But thank you very much, and Jim, it's a pleasure to present to you this award. James A. Trent. What does A stand for? I never asked.
Alfred.
Alfred.
That's my father's name.
Alfred.
Lifetime Achievement Award, 2005.
I actually asked Frank to do this honor for me because of the fact that in over 50 years of my being involved in civic work, Frank was at my side for 38 of those years. And any one of us can come up with an idea, but unless you have someone who's going to provide the funding and the enabling legislation, your ideas aren't going to go very far. So for that reason, this honor also reflects on Frank Padavan and those 38 distinguished years that he had in the Senate. Quickly, I'd like to mention my thanks to Mary Motor, who nominated me for this award. And thanks to my board, who supported this nomination by a vote of 12 to 11. quick mention I should make of my mother, who passed away in 2009 at age 96. My mother brought me to a meeting of the Creedmoor Civic Association, whose president is here, by the way. Mr. O'Keefe, where's your hand? Put it up. Mike O'Keefe is here, current president. I was 12 years old when I went to that meeting, and you know, you hear the usual banter in schoolyards, and I go to the civic meeting, they're talking about taxes and filling potholes and pruning trees, and frankly, I thought it was all very cool. And so I have been involved in that ever since, so I have to thank my mother for that as well. Thank you.